Hi everyone, this is Brandon Foreman in Info 200 with Blog Post 7 here, and I decided to go about this in a unique way. My information community that I chose at the beginning of the semester was the video gaming community. All people who would refer to themselves as gamers, um, both casual, moderate, and I guess people you can say who are just very invested in gaming. They would consider it one of their main hobbies and one of their self-identifying factors, referring to themselves as a gamer. So with this post here, we were encouraged to get creative and also explain how our information community uses technology to help meet its information needs, how it's advancing information exchange of technology. So since I'm going over video gaming, and video gaming in itself relies on technology, I figured what better way to show you than an actual little bit of a video clip here of me playing a game and showing you how you can interact with others and how gaming has created new avenues for information exchange completely in a virtual environment. So let's get started. So this video game is known as No Man's Sky. It's created by a company known as Hello Games, and the whole concept of the game is space exploration. The game has what's considered a procedural generation. The game is procedurally generated, and what that means is that the game takes the assets, which refers to like the items, these plants you see in front of me here, those clouds, the Earth, the planet itself. I'm sorry, not the Earth. Um, all of the different plant life we have. The game takes these different assets and artistic mechanics of the game, and it creates entirely new environments, creatures, plant life, all within the game itself. In the game's engine, that's also connected to an online server. It's creating new worlds for you. It's not scripted. Whereas, to give a example, I think most people can relate to here, the classic video game Pac-Man. You go through Pac-Man through each level. It's the same exact level every time. The dots are in the same place. You're gonna hit the same areas. If a game like this, whereas in Pac-Man you go to the second level, it's the same level. In this game, you go to the next area, the next planet. It can be a completely different experience for me playing the game for 2 hours than it could be for someone else. So I just want to give you a rundown of this game, of what it's like, just so you have a better understanding as I continue onwards. So let's get back to it. Let's meet some other people. So we're going to take off this planet here. Leaving the planet's atmosphere. Give myself a bit more space by going into a kind of a hyperspeed here. And let's slow it down. Alright. Figured I'd just show you all the planet that I just left. It's got these large rings here that you can see. And let's give ourselves a bit more space. So now what I'm going to do next is I am able to summon a item known as the anomaly. It is a, well, I guess you kind of refer to it almost as like a spacecraft. And it used to be an in-game item that you could interact with and talk with what are considered non-playable characters. Those are characters that are not actually people, not real people. They're not characters that you ever play as. They're just other computer-controlled characters that you can interact with and advance the story of the game and etc. So I'm going to summon this item here. This item is it now gives you the ability to connect to what's called the Nexus, which allows you to interact with other players who are playing at the same time from different parts of the world. So I will summon this now. Whew. And there it is. Alright, so now I'm going to attempt to enter it. Whew. That always freaks me out with how quickly you come in there. Alright, let's get out of the ship. So, we are now at the Nexus. Let's see what we got going on over here. There you go. So you see up here, what we have is actual other players. Now I don't want to interfere with anyone else's game right now, and seeing as how I cannot control what these other people might say, I will leave it as is, but I wanted to show you here. Here you have numerous other players coming in, interacting with the game, interacting with those non-playable characters I informed you of previously, to advance their own story. And I can start a conversation with these other players, work to exchange resources, coordinate plans that go along with other missions, and we can actually continue our journey together and play together. And this is all within the framework of this game. You can see it's basically a little virtual world of all these characters here. I will talk to a computer character because I know nothing there can be inappropriate. Speaking to me in some alien language. Give it data. Now, in my research paper, and as well a few of my blog posts, I refer to streaming, which and live streaming in particular, which is when you play games such as I am doing right now, how I'm talking to you. There are people who do this with live interactions, where you can talk to me, I can talk to you, as I'm playing, as you're watching my gameplay. A lot of people use this to learn more about a game, get tips on how to beat it. If someone's experienced and is able to get through a game, they like watching videos of other people playing so they can learn for themselves. And then the live form interaction allows for instant feedback and correction in case anyone's making mistakes as they're playing. So what I'm doing right here, it will be like an archived form of streaming here. I am streaming my game, I am talking, but due to the nature of our assignment, I can't present it in a live format, but this will be like an archive stream rather than a live stream. Now, let's see here. And another thing to take note of is, as you can see here, with this virtual hub, this virtual world with these different characters, they all have what are referred to as avatars. The human players who've chosen, like this character right here, this particular outfit design, the character's body model, and things like that. That's from the player is allowed to do that. They can customize their character. Another one of my blog posts, I referred to how players can, if they so choose, a different gender or sex to what they are in reality. For some players, they like just doing this for the aesthetic change, but others do this in order to kind of experiment with what it's like to live life as the opposite gender or sex, and to see maybe if that's something for them in reality. Now, I am nowhere near credible enough to say if this is a valid way to go about it or not, but research studies have shown from that I've referenced in previous posts that players who've gone about and done this, male players acting as female players, they had an easier time receiving help from other players to either accomplish a task, gain a resource, something like that. It's found that a lot of male players, they have a kind of they believe they have to identify as kind of the typical male archetype where, oh, I can't ask for help, I need to be independent and things like that, which in my personal opinion is a primitive set of thinking, but I can understand how some people still fall under that societal pressure. But nonetheless, these people, they feel that pressure and they feel the need to go about seeking help as a female avatar in order to make it easier for them. Gamers tend to be a more open-minded group of individuals, but nonetheless, with certain cultural pressures, society pressures, that can completely change the dynamic for them. And that's actually a really great example too of information barriers there. We've talked about cultures, races, different countries. You can face cultural barriers, for the sex you were born in. And I mean, that's we go back as far as time. How hard was it for someone of color or a woman to retrieve information? Let's say even 40, 50 years ago. We progressed so much as a society, but we can't forget where we came from and the information barriers that people had to go through to gain more. Pretty much, if you were not a white male as of, let's go back even further, 100 years ago, the information you would maybe be privy to, the resources you would be given would be so minute. Um, if you were anything but a standard white male, at least in westernized society over in the United States. So in this virtual environment, players can circumvent those possible cultural barriers. They have a bit more freedom of expression, and that's a wonderful thing about gaming. It allows people to find comfort and provides some healthy escapism. Along with that, obviously information seeking. You have numerous players here you can interact with. Now, important thing to note: although this technology can be wonderful and interacting with these players, can be great, a great resource, you should not rely on them solely for like in-depth information that you need to refer to, that you're going to need a site that you want to make a impactful debate about. These are great, but just like if you were to meet strangers out in the real world, do your own research, follow up. This is great. Interacting with other players here can be great for recreation seeking, everyday information seeking purposes, such as, getting further in the game, increasing your own rank, things like that, how to have a bit more fun maybe with a certain play style. But for actual, deep information, again, though, that important information, if you want to make a debate on something that has to do with culture, life, value, politics, this is not the route you want to go, because it cannot be verified. While it's convenient that the information is instantaneous, you always want to go to your scholarly articles, peer-reviewed journals, well-made academic resources that can be verified. Well, I am going to leave this area here now, go back into my own personal single-player world. I thank you all for joining me for this unique presentation. Believe it or not, this is actually the second time in my academic career I've been able to use gaming as a presentation. For a previous assignment in my undergrad for my psychology bachelor's, I was able to show a presentation via a game called Super Mario Maker, where I made a whole level that kind of acted almost as like a PowerPoint style, where people could get different information. So that's another example of how I myself as a gamer previously was able to exchange and provide information via the video game format, which is another unique method that would only be possible thanks to the creation of video games and the way that they utilize technology. Well, thank you again all so much. I've really enjoyed this course. I look forward to doing my final blog post as well. I've already actually recently in my life, in my real life, have experienced a practical application of the course, and it was nice. It's nice to see this instant use of what we've been learning here, and it just makes it feel all the more relevant. And I'm just very grateful for some of the information I've gained from this course, the feedback from Dr. Kuntz, and from all of you. You've all been great commenting on my different blog posts. It's been great interacting with you. Generally, it's always great just to interact with other people who love library science and good information seeking practices. So thank you again, and well, have a great one, and good luck with your MLIS journey. Oh, and on that note, I better get out of here.